Let us discuss today's important current affairs. From Hindu paper today, the Supreme Court of India said, teach sexual equality in schools. Supreme Court of India said, teach sexual equality in the schools. The Supreme Court of India told the center that the concept of sexual equality and moral and ethical training of how men should behave with women respectfully must become a part of school syllabus. Moral and ethical training, etiquette, must be made part of school syllabus. There must be a module to inculcate these schools at a very early age for children. Now, schools do not have moral education. Certain schools have it, but the class is usually cancelled and some other subjects are taken. Justice Nagaratna, who is most probably, she is going to become the Chief Justice of India, Justice Nagaratna. Justice Nagaratna said, equality between daughter and sons must start at home. But instead, discrimination starts at home with parents. Parents are more focused on restraining their daughters and not their sons. The word discrimination must go from our vocabulary, Justice Nagaratna said. The Supreme Court was hearing a writ petition filed by petitioner in person and senior advocate Abad Ponda, who said that the root cause for the surge in rape cases and incidents of crimes against women was lack of education at the basic level about equality among sexes. This is the thing. So, in our fundamental duties, Article 51A, Part 4A, we have a fundamental duty to renounce the practices derogatory to the dignity of women. And in UPSC Civil Service exam, we have a paper specially, Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude towards Civil Services exam. In that paper, from the last 12 years, on an average, at least one question, directly or indirectly, is appearing from discrimination and most importantly, female discrimination, women discrimination. And case studies are also being asked. If there is a women sexual harassment or if there is a sexual harassment by men against women, how you are going to tackle that and how to respectfully treat women, how to promote women education, etc. Now the Supreme Court is telling, from the childhood itself, the concept of sexual equality should be taught in the syllabus. School should not skip moral science classes. School should not conduct another class during the period of moral science sessions. So moral science is very, very important. A petition was filed in the Supreme Court saying that important cause for rapes and other things is in the curriculum we don't have proper syllabus with respect to sexual equality. Men should treat women respectfully. That should be taught from the childhood itself. So Supreme Court said the concept of sexual equality should be inculcated in the childhood school textbooks, should be inculcated in the syllabus. I suggest that not just the text but also the pictures. How should we treat women? The entire episode should be showed with the pictography. Proper pictures should be shown. How we should respectfully treat women. And if you observe, most of the schools in the childhood have female teachers. Respect for a female teacher should continue. Respect for mother should continue. That's very important. Coming to the other important news from Hindu paper today, America have alleged that it is funding $21 million for increasing voter turnout in India. Our Ministry of External Affairs said that US election aid allegations against India, they were deeply troubling. American DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, says that it cancelled $21 million in US aid funds for voter turnout in India. India's Ministry of External Affairs declines to comment on whether the government is reviewing US aid's ongoing partnerships with multiple ministries in India. The center said that it was investigating very deeply troubling allegations made by the US DOGE that US aid is funding $21 million to improve voter turnout in India. This expenditure has been cancelled by American Department of DOGE, which was run by billionaire Elon Musk. In the Indian government's first reaction to DOGE ex post, the Ministry of External Affairs said that Different departments are looking into the information shared but declined to comment on whether India would cancel a number of MOUs and agreements on US aid funding made with various ministries over the past few years, many of which are still live and current. We have seen information that has been put out by the US administration regarding US aid activities and funding. Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randir Jaiswal said, "These are obviously very deeply troubling. This has led to concerns about foreign interference in India's internal affairs." So now in India there is a political turmoil with respect to this statement given by America, that America is funding to improve Indian election voter turnout. This is very, very pathetic and bad, reprehensible statement given by America. Let's see how things are going to unfold. Coming back, the other news is coming up. Our External Affairs Minister Mr. Jaishankar said, India China worked hard to protect G20. India and China have worked hard to preserve the G20 organization, said by our External Affairs Minister Mr. Jaishankar during his talks with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi on the sidelines of G20 Foreign Ministers meeting in Johannesburg, South Africa. In a half an hour long meeting where both the foreign ministers, India and Chinese foreign ministers, discussed about bilateral developments, including the situation on line of actual control. Mr. Jaishankar pointed out that both countries are members in G20, SCO and SAARC and has discussed regional and global issues. We should recognize that in a polarized global situation, India and China have worked hard to preserve and protect the G20 as an institution. This itself testifies the importance of international cooperation. This is the thing. So our External Affairs Minister met Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and said India and China strived hard to preserve G20 as an institution. India and China partners in G20, SCO and BRICS. And they also have an appraisal of the situation in line of actual control. This is a thing that is going on. Next, coming to Hindu paper editorial page today. Recently, there is one very disturbing and shocking news. The Lokpal said that High Court judges will come under the domain of Lokpal and Lokpal can try the cases of High Court judges. The Supreme Court stayed this decision and said the statement given by Lokpal that High Court judges will also come under the jurisdiction of Lokpal is very disturbing. High Court judge post is not a statutory post, it's a constitutional post. Judge himself is a court. The Lokpal's ruling that High Court judges are amenable to its jurisdiction and Supreme Court order staying it on its own motion raise more than a mere question of law. The issue concerns both the independence of judiciary and its accountability. That the court, government law officers and senior advocates found the Lokpal's decision disturbing is understandable, as many believe that judicial independence will undermine if the judges of constitutional courts are made answerable to the Lokpal. Now the question comes whether judicial accountability should be ensured or not. I'll tell you two things. There is other set of argument. One is with respect to the appointment of judges, 99th Constitutional Amendment Act have established NJAC, National Judicial Appointments Commission. But the Supreme Court in 2015, by 4:1 judgment, struck down 99th Constitutional Amendment Act saying that it affects judicial independence. Again, in India, there is a statement generally which we attribute to the judiciary. Caesar's wife should be above doubt, should be above suspicion. But the thing is, if you say judges will not come under the jurisdiction of Lokpal, the removal of judges itself is a very tough task. We need a parliamentary resolution for that. How to ensure judicial accountability is a big question. How to ensure the accountability of judiciary is a big question. If you see, even in 𝐾.वीरास्वामी versus Union of India 1991, no case should be registered against judges without consultation of CJI. No case should be registered against High Court judge without consultation with the CJI. Even though it also said that judges were public servants under Prevention of Corruption Act. 𝐾.वीरास्वामी versus Union of India 1991 is an important case where you should not register a case against a High Court judge without consulting the Chief Justice of India. So here Supreme Court also, while listening to the case, also referred to this case 𝐾.𝐸𝐺𝐺 versus Union of India. You should also mention whenever you are writing an answer about judicial accountability. Next important news from Hindu paper editorial page that is coming up. Converting court case backlogs into treasure troves. See, in Supreme Court of India, as on today, 82,000 cases were pending. Nearly 50 lakh cases have been pending for more than 10 years in various high courts. I can tell you, in Supreme Court today, 82,000 cases are pending. In various high courts in India today, 62 lakh cases are pending. And in various lower courts, 5 crores cases are pending. Delayed justice is nothing but denied justice. Justice delayed is justice denied. This data is very important to quote in the exam. Every Chief Justice of India, while he enters into office, he will see lot of backlog cases, and every member in judiciary knows this. It is an ever-present phenomenon. Currently, the Supreme Court have 82,000 cases pending. The High Courts over 62 lakh cases. Lower courts close to 5 crore cases pending. Nearly 50 lakh cases have been pending for more than 10 years. It is not that our judges are not hardworking or efficient. The great majority of them are hardworking and efficient. But we are a country with vast population that is used to thinking that the Supreme Court will resolve disputes with whoever it might be, neighbor, shareholder, supplier, government, etc. We have one of the lowest judge to population ratios, 21 judges for every million citizens. That is, for every 10 lakh citizens, we have only 21 judges. As we rely on the adversarial system, which means that virtually every case sees multiple interim applications during its passage and plural appeals after the first passage is crossed. So there are lot many affidavits, appeals, lot many interim orders, lot many interim appeals, all these things. So we have plurality in appeals. We have got shortages in the infrastructure and capacity in terms of brick and mortar and finances and human resources. For that reason, to dispose the case very fast, it is a Herculean task for the judge. This is the Hindu paper editorial today, Hindu paper lead article today. Pendency of cases in the judiciary. You can take complete data from this. This topic is important even in political science, because in IJP, this data is very, very important. The other important news is coming up from China. China finds new coronavirus that can infect humans, just as COVID-19 did. A team of Chinese researchers have identified a new bat coronavirus that has a potential to spread from animals to humans, as it utilizes the same receptor as the virus responsible for COVID-19. A team of Chinese researchers have discovered a new bat coronavirus with the potential for animal to human transmission. The virus named 𝐃𝐞𝐸𝐧𝐥𝐶OV2 was found to use the same human receptor as SARS-CoV-2, which was responsible for COVID-19. So this is the thing. The new bat coronavirus. The new bat coronavirus. Can the new bat coronavirus spread like COVID? The scientists warn that the bat coronavirus posed a high risk of spillover to humans, either through direct transmission or facilitated by intermediate hosts. So we should always be ready for a new disease called disease X. It can be a virus, it can be a bacteria, it can be man-made, it can be natural. Nobody can say how it is going to come, but humanity should be ready for a new disease called disease X. It might be this bat coronavirus also. Bat coronavirus also. So at this stage, we cannot tell whether it is dangerous or not, but I can surely tell we have to be very cautious about that. There is another news that is coming up from Donald Trump and Zelensky, Ukrainian president. Donald Trump appears to have won over his trade standoff with Zelensky, the Ukrainian president. The Ukrainian president Zelensky is set to give and sign a deal with America to access to the deposits of critical minerals. The deal was seen as crucial for satisfying America's demand for peace settlements between Ukraine and Russia to end their 3 years long war. So Zelensky surrenders to Trump and he is going to sign a mineral deal with Trump, wherein which America can have an access to the critical minerals in Ukraine. This is a story that is coming up. There is a conclave that was held, SOUL, School of Ultimate Leadership Conclave, Seoul Conclave. SOUL, School of Ultimate Leadership or Soul Conclave. Prime Minister Modi called that India is an emerging global house that required world-class leaders who can find solutions in global trends and complexities in every sector. At the School of Ultimate Leadership, Soul Conclave, Mr. Modi said institutions like Soul could prove as game changers in this regard. Modi ji said that India needs energetic and solution based leaders whose approach would be global, but an important part of their thinking should be local. We have to prepare such individuals who can move ahead with India's mind, understanding the international mindset. Those who are always ready for strategic decision making, crisis management, and futuristic thinking. Modi ji also said, think globally, but we should also have a connect with local issues. In the times to come, leadership will not be limited to just power. Only those who have the capabilities of innovation and impact will be in the leadership roles. Individuals of the country will have to emerge according to the need. SOUL, SOUL, School of Ultimate Leadership will be an institution that develops critical thinking, risk taking, and solution driven mindsets in their individuals. In the times to come, such leaders will emerge from the institutions who will be ready to work amidst the disruptive changes. So, there is a conclave called SOUL, School for Ultimate Leadership. These schools are very, very important now because India needs leaders, and leaders are the leaders with innovation, creativity, and out of box solutions, critical thinking, and strategic decision making. India needs such leaders. They should have global thinking with local connect. This is a message given by Prime Minister Modi yesterday while talking about India is going to become a powerhouse in the world very soon. Directly, we may get a question in the exam. What is Majorana 1? It's a new chip, semiconductor chip announced by Microsoft. Majorana 1 is a new chip for quantum computing. It uses topographic superconductor. Topographic means in a material, interior portion and surface portion can display distinct properties. In a topographic superconductor, interior has superconductivity. This leads to distinct surface properties when electricity is passed. This unique phenomena leads to appearance of Majorana Fermi subatomic particles which have their own antimatter. So, Majorana 1 is a new chip. It's a topographic superconductor chip. It has more stability without errors. This means quantum computing can be scaled to millions of qubits. This makes quantum computing more practical and can be used for daily applications. This also means that Majorana 1 can be used in material sciences, medicine to cryptography, and even to create new drugs. So, this is very important. Majorana 1, it's a superconductor chip that was announced by Microsoft, and Elon Musk, Satya Nadella, all the top-notch technocrats in the world, they are telling this is going to be a path-breaking movement in the history of quantum computing. This is the fourth matter after liquid, solid and gas stage. And let's see more news. We are waiting for more news about Majorana 1. So, temporarily, as the news is coming up, what is Majorana 1? It's a superconductor chip for quantum computing. It was announced by Microsoft. This was the news that is coming up, very important. Another important news is coming up from Kuno National Park. We all know that we have introduced African cheetahs in Kuno National Park. As Asiatic cheetahs or Asian cheetahs got extinct, we are bringing cheetahs from Africa. So, a good news is coming up from Kuno National Park. 5 more cheetahs were released into the wild from their enclosures at Madhya Pradesh Kuno National Park, taking the number of big cats set free to 12. So, 12 big cats right now in Kuno National Park were released from their enclosures. According to the official statement from Kuno National Park, Namibian cheetah Jwala and her 4 13-month-old cubs, 2 males and 2 females, were released in the Kajuri forest area of the national park. There are now 5 adult cheetahs and 7 cubs roaming freely in Kuno. That is, total 12 cheetahs are roaming freely in Kuno. and while a total of 12 still remained in the enclosures. There is an interesting and another good news coming up from Odisha. A record of 6.5 lakh olive ridley turtles reached Odisha beach for mass nesting. We all know that olive ridley turtles are very important with respect to biodiversity, and with respect to all turtles, olive ridley turtles are very famous. Wildlife enthusiasts are very much thrilled as a record of 6.5 lakh olive ridley turtles have arrived at a Rushkulia beach in Ganjam district of Odisha for mass nesting after a gap of 2 years. During 2023 and 2024 and 2024-2025, only sporadic nestings were noticed at Rushkulia, but now we can see 6.5 lakh olive ridley turtles have come to Rushkulia beach in Ganjam district. Following the usual pattern, the mass congregation of olive ridley turtles at the Gahirmata mass nesting site along Odisha's Kendrapara coast typically occurs about a week after nesting begins in Rushkulia. We hope Gahirmata will also witness the same lakhs and lakhs of olive ridley congregation this year.